Greetings. This is Yasha in Israel. And tonight, we're going to have a show called Idle Thoughts with Yasha. I'm just going to sit back and shoot the breeze and just kick some old idle thoughts. We're listening to the songs of Donald Brown, my college professor down at Knoxville College in the University of Tennessee. Knoxville, Tennessee, Donald Brown, the pianist for the legendary Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers. Yes, Idle Thoughts with Yasha. Yes, we're having Idle Thoughts with Yasha tonight. Just sit back, kick the breeze. Yes, this is Donald Brown. That's my man. He taught me how to play piano. So today, I was just thinking, just sitting back thinking, about all of the stuff that's going on in the conscious community. It's a bad day for the conscious community. I remember a time when the conscious community had great men like Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey, Ben Ami, Dr. Khalid, right? Stokely Carmichael, the Black Panthers. Today's conscious community has fallen, has backslidden, has degenerated down to the common state of goofiness. Today, your conscious leaders are men like Sonetta, men like Chris Harris, men like Shaka Amos, right? Men like Polite, men like Young Pharaoh. This is what your conscious community has fallen to. Men like Tazariak. This is the face of today's Black conscious community. I say whoa to the Black conscious community. These are just idle thoughts of Yasha. The Black conscious community got Israelites in it. We got Moors. We got Satanists, right? The Black conscious community today, it has Muslims and Christians. It has all the minds that exist in blackness. We talk about the conscious community. Now, this is Idle Thoughts with Yasha on tonight. You got your conscious community. Is falling. Again, we talk about all of the great men, the great leaders, the great organizations that has led Black consciousness, and it is falling now in the hands of men like Polite, men like Sonetta. It's a bad day, Omar Johnson tries to represent, but he don't fall through with his word. Back in the days of Black consciousness, they meant what they said, and they were serious. They were so serious that the American government had to create a faction in the FBI called the Counterintelligence Program. The Counterintelligence Program, the acronym is COINTELPRO. Yeah, the acronym is COINTELPRO. And when COINTELPRO was created, it was created to stop this black consciousness in fear of rise of the black messiah. Yes. Yes, this is Idle Thoughts with Yasha. Sit back, listening to some good jazz. I love jazz. Roll me up a nice doobie. And we having Idle Thoughts with Yasha Ben Israel tonight. So as I was saying about black consciousness and the black conscious community and how it is falling. It is falling, falling, falling. I can never forget the great men that I've met in my lifetime of the black conscious community. I've met, walked, and talked with men like Runoko Rashidi, guys like Dr. Khalid Mohammed, men like Ben Ami Ben Israel. Yes, I've met Nate 7,000 of the IUIC. I've actually had a debate with him. Had a discourse with him, and it went bad. But my group against his group right here in Detroit. I've also met men like, Dr. Imam Issa, Malachi York. I knew Malachi York. I met him right here in Detroit. He had a mosque at the time because they were Muslim. Right here on Grand River, right across the street from Steve's Soul Food Kitchen. When I met him, he had just started the Nawapic movement. And I had a discourse with him, and we had a disagreement on information. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't call it a debate, but yeah, I met him. We talk about the black conscious community. Steve Coakley, yeah. When I was running with Malik Shabazz here in Detroit, I had an Israelite movement that I used to be the leader of pretty much. The spiritual leader for certain. Because I was the most dominant. And I joined Malik Shabazz when he had the new Marcus Garvey movement. Because he called himself making a new Marcus Garvey movement. But he was a member of the original Marcus Garvey movement, which still exists today. And through Malik Shabazz, I got a chance to meet Marcus Garvey's son right here in the city of Detroit. Because I was in the new Marcus Garvey movement. I ran with Malik Shabazz. And I'm telling this story because we're talking about the black conscious community, right? I'm just talking about the black conscious community with Idle Thoughts with Yasha. So, right here in this black conscious community, Donald Brown kicked that boy be kicking them keys. He taught me how to play the piano, this man that we're listening to right here. But anyway, in the black conscious community, right, I was running with Malik Shabazz right here in the city of Detroit, and I had my own little Israelite movement, and it consisted mostly of 3 men, but we had a considerable following, very influential when it came to this Israelite work. And this was back in the 90s. Malik Shabazz, when important people in the black community would come to Detroit, Malik Shabazz would get a hold to me and my Israelite brothers, right? And he would send us to the airports to get these important people. And we were the bodyguards for these important people. It was me, a brother by the name of Donald Wellens, also known as Daniel bin Yahuda, a brother by the name of Yahada Shabbat, me, Yasha. We had other people, sisters, that would feed these men when they come here, but we put these guys up in hotel rooms, or we had very, very elaborate places for these men to be. And we were their bodyguards. These men consisted of guys like Steve Coakley. These guys consisted of men like Geronimo Pratt of the Black Panthers. These men consisted of guys like Dr. Khalid Mohammed. These guys consisted of men like Ramoko Rashidi. These men consisted of men like Dr. Ben, Yosef Ben Yakani. These men consist of men like Dr. Ashwa Kwesi. All of these men in the Black conscious community, I've had the honor of meeting, walking, and talking with. Even had the honor of protecting a whole lot of these men. I'm just having idle thoughts with Yasha tonight. We may get a big audience tonight. We may not get a big audience tonight. I just want to sit back with my audience and just shoot the breeze. Just kick it, Nothing serious, no real hard biblical talk or historical talk on tonight. Just idle thoughts with Yasha. I might talk about anything, because I'm having idle thoughts. But I'm talking about, at the moment, this Black conscious community. And how within the Black conscious community, how it is falling into the hands of men like Sarnetta, Frank Gehry, guys like Polite, Michael Nowak, guys like Chris Harris. People, it's really, really sad. It's really, 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 really sad how the conscious community is falling. Just really, really sad. Black people, I want you to know that people is vying for your mind and your soul. They have told you that you were the bottom of the barrel when it comes to the races. And certainly they have played us like the bottom of the barrel when it comes to the races. But for some reason, of all the minds in the world, the Black mind everybody is vying for, right? I'm saying that when foreigners come to America, many of them are sent directly to the African American community, not to live, but to vie for the minds, hearts, souls of Black people. Being that they don't know any Black person, they sent in your community to lead your gas stations, to lead your supermarkets, right? To give you and to sell to you the things that you need, right? This is what the reality is that we live as Black people. They have made us the bottom of the barrel, whether we like it or not. Because I remember a time when Black people right here in Detroit, Michigan owned all the stores. We owned gas stations. We owned a lot of business here in Detroit. And Detroit was so prominent and such a successful place for black people to live that during the time of the Great Depression, you know, black people all around the world was living real impoverished and poor. White people too. But black people in Detroit had developed a system where virtually almost any and everything that happened during the Depression, you know, it had nothing to do with black people here in Detroit. Black people in Detroit were soaring. They was living in paradise, what we call Paradise Valley, at the time of the Great Depression. Look it up in history. Look up the Paradise Valley in Detroit, and look up the years in which Paradise Valley existed in Detroit. And you'll learn that Paradise Valley was a very, 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 very prominent African American community. I mean, and extended right off into the Black Bottom. And right now, they have destroyed the Black Bottom. They built I-75 through the Black Bottom. The Black Bottom no longer exists. Hastings Street was the main street in the Black Bottom, you know. And this is like we're talking about the 1920s, right? In the 1930s, black people, I mean, even though they were poor, they were soaring, because even in their poverty, you know, they lived better than most people all around the world in the 1920s, in the 1930s, right? My grandmother was born in the 1920s right here in Detroit. My grandfather was born in like 1919. You know, these were the people that were living here in Detroit. Detroit was a prominent. My people lived in the North End on the Black Bottom. In fact, my grandmother's house, my great grandmother's house exists. It no longer exists, but it stands right off the freeway. We look right onto the freeway. When you pass the freeway, you pass my great grandmother's house. And she lived in that house for a very, 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 very long time before the freeway even existed. We talking about Paradise Valley, and I'm talking about Idle Thoughts with Yasha. Right there in Paradise Valley. You understand what I'm saying? My ancestors saw it. They saw the freeway being. My great grandmother, Goldie Whitfield, saw the freeway being built every day of the freeway's conception from beginning to end. They built it right in front of her house, less than 20 feet from her house. I don't know what the deal was, why she didn't move, why she didn't sell. I don't know, but, you know, maybe she didn't have to. But my great-grandmother, Goldie Whitfield, right there, right across the street from Russell Street Baptist Church. So, you got people that are constantly vying for the minds of black people, even though they treat us like we were the downtrodden, the worst, the bottom of the barrel. You know, when truthfully, we are the cream of the crop. You got to wonder why everybody is vying for the heart, souls, and minds of black people. But they want to treat black people like they ain't shit. You know, less than shit. Manure has more value than black people, the games that they want to play with us. When in actuality, baby, we are the cream of the crop, the creme de la creme, you know? And that's just the reality. I just hate the games that these people are out here playing with black people. We looking at this debate that's about to take place with Tazariot, Chris Harris, and I think that Tazariot is a silly man for taking on this debate. I think Tazariot is a silly man for taking on this debate. I really do. Because Tazariot don't understand that they done throw the baby out with the bathwater dealing with you, baby. For real, Tazariot. You don't understand that they have buried the baby before the baby was even born. Everybody is running around here talking about how Tazariot is going to lose this debate. Now, if we go on by the judgment of the crowd, if we judging on the curve, what the crowd has to say type of thing, Tazariot going to win unanimously because the ISUPK support their own real hard. And they bigger than HOK could ever be. And if you go by unanimous decision, Chris done lost before he even thought of winning. So, what's going to happen is that this is done on the HOK platform. And being that this is on the HOK platform, what is going to happen here is that Tazariot is going to lose. Because Sarnetta and them going to set it up. Chris ain't got to come with no scholarship, really. He ain't got to come with nothing real heavy. He just got to talk loud and entice the crowd. Come with the most fallacious arguments. And he's going to beat Tazariot badly. If he come with intellect, he's going to lose because the argument is 50-50. They talking about whether Jesus existed, basically. You know what I mean? And there's great arguments both ways, And the reason why it's a silly, dumb argument, and it's a fallacious argument, it's a bad argument to begin with. I say they both lost because the topic is fallacious. The topic is on something along the lines whether Jesus existed or not. You know what I'm saying? It's something on the lines whether is there any historical evidence for Jesus and all that kind of silliness. The truth of the matter is that it's a very fallacious argument to begin with. Highly fallacious. It's called the argument from ignorance. I want to share my screen. Share my screen a little bit. Idle thoughts with Yasha tonight. Pow. Hit that button. There. Bam. Okay. We have here the typical argument from ignorance. Y'all see that? I'm going to blow it up for y'all so y'all can see it. Make it big right here. It says an argument from ignorance is an assertion that a claim is either false or true, right? What the claim that they're asserting, whether it's false or true, is that whether Jesus existed or not, or whether there's any historical evidence of Jesus, right? Or something like that. So, an argument from ignorance is an assertion that the claim, right, is either false or true because of a lack of evidence to the contrary. There is no evidence that proves that Jesus existed. And there's no evidence that proves that Jesus didn't exist. It's an argument from ignorance because there is no evidence to the contrary. We want to read that word again. We want to read that again, right? He said, an argument from ignorance is an assertion that a claim is either true or false because the claim lacks evidence to the contrary. I'm just telling you, there's no evidence for stuff like that because you talk about, wasn't nobody thinking about no damn archaeology or even recording what we know today as history, the discipline of history. Them people wasn't thinking like that back then. They preserved things certainly for the purpose of memorandum, as a memorandum. But I'm not quite sure if they were thinking like history and archaeology, because the people who constructed these disciplines were doing it to explain away the brilliance of the blackness of ancient history. So there is no evidence to whether Jesus existed, right? But guess what? There's also no evidence to where Jesus didn't exist. So this is an argument from ignorance, right? Because both of these guys are making assertions. Tazariak is saying that it is true that Jesus existed, whether there's evidence or not. And Chris is saying whether Jesus is not true, Jesus don't exist, whether there's evidence or not. Because of the lack of evidence of the contrary. Neither one of these guys have no real circumstantial evidence, right? They don't even have empirical evidence. They don't have no type. All of the types of evidence, they don't really have no real evidence that Jesus existed. And they don't have no evidence that Jesus didn't exist. There's no evidence that Christianity was stolen from Kemet. There's just no evidence to that stuff. Now, the Christianity, which came much, 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 much later, adopt from Kemet? I'm quite sure the world adopted from Kemet. Not just Christianity. I'm saying people as far as America and as long as the modern time today has adopted from ancient Kemet. They didn't steal from Kemet, And I'm going to say they didn't steal from Kemet. When I say that, I'm saying that there's stolen artifacts in America that was stolen. Or should I say taken or given from Egypt, given to America that came from Egypt. And they were taking, I can't say that they were taking unjustly, because when these artifacts made their way to the Americas, there was no more Egypt. The Cometians had long left Egypt for thousands of years and had never turned back. Many people have came in the Cometians' land, conquered it, dominated it, because everybody adopted, learned, and even stole from Kemet. Kemet was a powerful place. But you can't say that Christianity stole from Kemet, because when Christianity came on the scene, the teachings of Kemet were so largely shared and adopted throughout the land that it was common practice and way of life. Understanding that ancient Egypt dominated what is called the lands of Israel today. That was Egyptian territory at one particular time. So, I mean, that's just the way it rolls, you know? That's just the way the ball bounces. But everybody is vying for the souls of black people. You know what I'm saying? And no one wins. They both lose when they have an argument from ignorance. It is a fallacious argument. It is a very fallacious argument. Let me get on out of there. Yeah. So back at the ranch, people. So I don't invest much into what's going on over there with that. You know, these guys in black consciousness, they should be talking about things that's going to edify and strengthen and empower black people. Malcolm X empowered black people. He influenced black people to do a powerful thing within themselves. I'm just trying to tell you, man. Martin Luther King did too. All of the great black conscious leaders of the past were concerned about you, black man. The people in black consciousness today want to enslave you. They want to create movements that involve you so they can climb up on top of you and to rule over you. They want to eat off of you. They don't want to do the work that it takes to maintain you and to empower you to do what he even wants to do. So now they become extortionists, extorting black people, feeding them a bunch of lollygag and bullcrap in the name of black consciousness. Tazariot said that Chris Harris should be banned from the HOK. But he's over there debating them because Sarnetta offered him some money. You see how the backbone of a big man like that can become just as slithery as a snake? Malcolm X had a strong backbone, man. Alpha male type cats. When he said no, he meant no. You know, Sarnetta offered that boy some money, and he took the bag. These are your black conscious leaders. Just don't stand for nothing. Chris Harris, I told Chris running around here saying, Chris running around here saying, my old cliche that see, I'm done and through with it. And when I'm done and through with it, he just got it and don't know what to do with it. You know, I'm done and through it before he even knew what to do with it. You know, Chris. He run around and say, I don't run to the fight. He said, I don't run away from the fight, I run to it. We don't run away from them, we run to them, or some shit like that or whatever. All that's mine, because I just said it all kind of ways. Depend on the circumstances. When I said it, I meant it in the streets. We don't run from the fight, we run to the fight. You know. And then I used that in consciousness. Chris stole it, took it. The best form of inspiration is imitation. Remember that. Don't let the smooth taste fool you. I'm ready to back out of the conscious community. Actually, I never was in it. When I say that, I'm saying that I'm about to start cutting ties with these people. I noticed that I cut ties with Sarnetta, and my numbers start jumping. Crazy. I'm talking about, like, I'm normally good for like 2,000-3,000 views a month. More so closer to 2, right? I done funked around and got over 10,000 views last month. And that's about how long it's been when I, disagree with Sarnetta. When I disagreed with him and I clowned him and I decided to cut paths with them guys. I never was one-on-one with them, ever. I never was one-on-one with them. But I was comrade. I was ally. At least I consider myself that. Me and Sarnetta had issues, in first encounter. He never really liked me. Excuse me. I'm over here blazing on some good herb. We call it rapper weed here in Detroit. We smoking on the bags that come from them big rappers. But Peace Trick, Goon Squad. Peace Malik, P Frown, Eastside Cheddar Boy. My rap buddies, my rap friends when I used to rap. Yeah, these are idle thoughts with Yasha. So back to this conscious community thing. JJ 7000 made his announcement. You know what I'm saying? He made his announcement that he was going to retire. I don't know what that was all about. And I really don't even have time to care. I'm not going to dig into it. I don't give a two rats ass about it. It's not my issue. That's JJ's issue. He got to deal with it. But since JJ called himself falling out with Sarnetta and hasn't been over there, since JJ hasn't been over there, what they have done was guys like Chris Harrison fighting to fill that void of JJ 7000. Because whether you look at it or not, JJ was a major character on the House of Consciousness show. Yeah, it's all a show. It's a big ass clown show. Big circus show. So in this show, JJ was a major character in this show. It's like Good Times, Sarnetta was James Evans and JJ was JJ Evans on that show. And myself, I never considered myself a major player on the show, although I was an actor on the show. I was more of an outsider and not a main character, somewhat like how Bookman, or Penny, or Alona was, like Bookman, one of those, or Ned the Wino, one of those guys that will pop in every now and then. more often than actual special guest people that will come on there or the extras. That's how I was. But now that JJ's gone and Chris Harris is over there getting his shine on. And I promote that part. All black people that get their shine on, get your shine on, man. Right. What I don't promote about Chris Harris is his decorum. Okay? He has bad taste. And that's what decorum is. They would like to try to tell you that decorum has a lot to do with the way one acts. Like, that's not decorum, that's called poise. Right? I'm going to share my screen and show y'all what decorum is. To show y'all that these men don't know what the definition of decorum. So I'm fixing the DECORUM. I'm going to punch it up. We just have an idle thoughts with Yasha here today. Pow. And then we go here. Share my screen. Pow. Decorum. See, the first dictionary definition is always the best. We deal with algorithms. They always push the best up to the top, right? At least what they call the best in their society. So this comes from the Oxford Language Dictionary, which is a very good dictionary, might I add. Decorum, behavior in keeping with good taste and propriety. Right? You exhibit remarkable modesty and decorum. Decorum is doing things with good taste. Because I speak against what you say and I do it loudly or boldly or even aggressively does not have anything to do with decorum. Let us back on out of that. So what I don't like about Chris Harris is that he has no decorum. He has very bad taste. You see? Very bad taste. And the game that they play with y'all is they gaslight you, right? What they do is their inconsistencies and their lackings and their failures, they'll dump that off on you and point the finger at you and say, look, he did it, he got it. And they do that to lift themselves up, right? Because it has their inconsistency, long as he can point the finger at you and have people looking at you and searching for your inconsistency. You ain't got time to look for his flaws and his errors and his inconsistencies. And this is why they do that. Chris Harris for decorum is horrible. So he wants this position and he's fighting. He wants to get rid of all the Israelites on the show because he wants his time to shine. Then you got JJ 7000 over there. You got JJ 7000. He over there. He's upset with anybody to get their shine on Sinetta. You know what I'm saying? Because, as long as he get his shine on over there, it's all right. He ain't got no problem with nobody over there like that, long as he on there. But when he ain't on there, he got a real big problem. And he always had that. And he know that's how I feel. And he knows that that's what I know. He knows it. And I'm not holding back. I'm not scared of him. I'm not afraid of him. He needs to know the truth. He needs to just focus on his show and his self. Chris Harris needs to focus on his show and his self. All these people do is go on their platform and try to bash each other and bring each other down. Now, I've had confrontation with both of these men, and you can see it right here on this platform in my video section, not the lives. And you'll see that when I attack them men, I attack strictly them and their information. And when they got disrespectful, I got disrespectful back. But for the most part, I attacked their information, and I led that drive to attack and destroy their information. These men, they want to make videos insulting, berating, and just attacking each other. The hatred that exists for black people in the black community amongst other black people is just silly. Should no man hate another man because of the things that they believe in? I don't hate nobody for what they believe in. I don't hate nobody for what they do. That's your life. As long as it doesn't affect me, I can't have a problem or issue with you. Okay? I may not agree with what you do. I may not even like what you do. But that don't make me have a direct issue or hatred for any other people. These brothers just hate each other. Black men just filled with hatred for other black men. You brothers should be able to have dialogue with each other. And then y'all should be able to go about your own lives. Y'all want to go behind the scenes and tear each other down. JJ7 more concerned with trying to tear down Chris Harris over some shit that Chris Harris said or some information that Chris Harris may have conveyed about him. But Polite has been charged with some form of the R word, right? And he's a much bigger threat than broke ass Chris. Polite is worth, if you look it up, anywhere from $2 to $4 million. I'm gonna show y'all. Y'all think I'm playing. You know how y'all little girls, y'all young ladies, your daughters is infatuated with material things and money. Madonna wrote a song about how she's a material girl. I'm gonna show y'all something. It's gonna trip y'all out. JJ want to play around with Chris Harris. He want to stop a nigga from making it instead of helping to bring justice to a devil that has already made it. That shit don't make no sense to me. Go to share my screen. I just punched up how much is Polite worth here. We're going to see how much is Polite worth here. Not to say any of this is true, right? What it does say is that this man has money, right? The very first thing came from News Unzipped, right? It says Brother Polite net worth in 2021 was 10 million. 12 million US dollars. Estimated net worth in 2020, right, was 7 million, 8 million. In the previous year, basically, Polite money is growing and growing and growing. Polite has a history of taking men's daughters, they're still children, and seducing them with his money, man. You see? But JJ want to waste time and hiding behind God, saying that my work is stopping the devil, or that shit JJ got with Chris is some personal shit. He should do God's work. If JJ would do God's work, then God would take care of Chris. But JJ don't believe in God. He believes in doing what the fuck he want to do. Polite, Brother Polite net worth. How rich is motivational speaker Michael Nowak? How rich is this guy? Brother Polite net worth. According to the sources, Brother Polite stepped into a professional writing career after releasing from jail due to his past criminal activities. Polite ain't never been in no prison, man. Not no prison. I'm just telling you that. I'm talking about like up north, right? He ain't never did no time. That's all that's a lie. And after becoming he did get caught up in some shit, but he ain't do no bid. After becoming a writer, he started writing his own books, right? Polite has been lying to y'all for the long man. You don't know not one nigga that got a Polite book. As per media sources, Polite wrote more than 90 books. Okay, bam, we ain't trying to hear all that bullshit. What is Brother Polite's net worth? 10 to 12 million US dollars. All right. Illuminati, the elite, Freemasonry, the Rosicrucians, the elves, right? Scottish rites, and all that. Eastern Star. Brother Polite net worth 10 million US dollars. Estimated net worth 7 to 8 million US dollars. That's 2020. 2021 he came up. He started out in 2019 with that 4 million. I keep telling y'all about that $4 million deal to YouTube. Get y'all when y'all crack that number. That nigga, he's a motivational speaker on YouTube. He ain't got no videos of him going all around the world speaking and motivating people. He don't have that. It's a lie. It's a fraud. It's that YouTube money. That 4 million, Polite took that 4 million and invested it. Right? And he's still getting them YouTube checks. Now, who's a bigger threat? Right? Polite or Chris Harris to the African American community? You have a man who then shot up the Bible. You have a man that talks. We have footage of him promoting rape. He's saying things like, then he got, promoting a rapist, a molester, a pedophile, and called him his God. But then we also have footage of Polite saying things like, if your daughter was molested by a man and such, what should you do? And what's the right stance to take? And these people don't, these people don't take these stances, and he take advantage of it because he telling you what he was doing at that moment with that very lady that he was sitting next to, his daughter. You see? Crazy. Very, very, very crazy. This your conscious community. So, JJ 7000, he wants to waste all his time trying to fight by way of social media Chris Harris. Personal beefs. And this is the bullshit that your black conscious leader is preoccupied with. Why a very, very, very rich satanic sworn man who said that his God is Satan, he'd rather roll with Satan than to run with your God. And he meant that from the bottom of his heart. And he talked about the God of the Bible. And this is how this man got rich, talking that kind of talk. Oh, I already debated Polite. Man, this ain't about no fucking debate, man. That's the problem. Y'all doing too much debate. All these debates did was cause fucking conflict in the fucking begin with. Right? All this fucking debate. You're doing too much talking and not enough walking. Walk the talk. Talk the talk that you, and walk the walk. Walk the talk and talk the walk. There's too much fucking talking. Meaningless, empty ass talk coming out of the mouth of the Israelites. So fucking what, you got the truth, Israelites? You ain't doing nothing. You are not doing nothing. You too busy waiting on motherfucking Jesus. And you hating on anybody who got a problem with that. These are the leaders of your black conscious community. This is idle thoughts for Yasha. You know what I'm saying? I talked to one of my other Israelite brothers, Jonathan Taylor, and he has taught me how psychotic the One West doctrine is. That shit destroys people's minds, and it should be stopped. And anybody who thinks that any form of worship of God does to you what One West doctrine does to you, you done lost your goddamn mind. Because all form of religious school of thought and doctrine doesn't do to people what One West has done. Truth of the matter is, religious school of thought has blessed many, many black people, man. I know many Christians, Muslims, and black Jews, all black folk, black Christian, black Muslims, and black Jews. You know, I know many of them that was living in a worse condition, in a worse school of thought, you know, had a worse worldview before they were introduced into religion. You know, I've seen religion, all three of these religions, reform black people and just completely change their lives. And I'm talking about for the better. The One West school of thought is the only school of thought that I have seen that actually damages the mind to the point to where I don't even think a psychiatrist can bring them back. Oh, Aria. Aria. The word on the street is Aria's nephew has been talking bad about Aria for years. When Aria was allegedly living, Aria's nephew said that Aria knew that what he teaching was a fraud. He knew it was a scam. He knew it was a pyramidal type Ponzi scheme. I keep telling y'all, everybody is vying for the souls of black people. Why black people hating on themselves? I'm talking about a deep, deep, deep hatred. A deep, deep hatred. Y'all gotta remember, Malcolm X and Martin Luther King did not hate each other. They just had differences. Okay? They had different worldviews. One common enemy, though. They had the same enemy. Yeah, this black conscious community is just really, really ridiculous. Sad. Every Israelite should be watching May 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Because this man has enough money to pay off judges. You know, to save Polite from jail, a hot 1, 2, 3, or 5 of those million, that judge will take. Those lawyers are going to make millions of dollars off of Polite. It has been said that $12 million is the reward given to Polite for misleading black people. I believe it. One of these days, I'm going to parse Polite's information for you and show y'all how stupid and unintelligent and fast talking and slick this man really, really, really is. He used words like disjunctive inference and really couldn't even demonstrate to you properly, right? He could talk shit, right? But he couldn't demonstrate it properly to where you could understand it. You'll lie and say, yeah, I understand it because you like Polite. But if I ask you to demonstrate it like Polite did, you couldn't do that, which means that you do not understand it. You just yes man. This is really silly and sad. These guys got millions of views. Millions of views. I get me a measly few thousand views. I ain't even got 100,000 views at all. Not at this point. These are just idle thoughts with Yasha. I'm sure if I live long enough, I'll have hundreds, even millions of views. Just keep doing it. Positive. I'm only like a year in the game, you know. Yep. I'm only a year in the game. I look at my numbers. I have a small consistency, you know, in my numbers. Yep. Idle thoughts with Yasha. think maybe tomorrow, if not tomorrow, it's Monday for sure, I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to have to start getting off into these linguistics and start, giving y'all some of these mighty powerful teachings, something that's really, that you can really use. Something that's going to really empower you. I'm going to start teaching languages on my channel. Something that can be beneficial. We'll get off into Spanish later, much later. But I'm going to be teaching Arabic and Hebrew. Most of them start off teaching Hebrew. And then I'm going to teach Arabic a little later on down the road. Because these are the documents that our history was recorded in. And this is a fact. African history prior to European colonialization was recorded in Arabic. You got guys like Chris Harris that are trying to hear that, who didn't know that. So he'll try to go seek out the Arabic records to try to prove you wrong. He could never do that to me, because I can go right in those same Arabic records, show how he misconstrued those records, so we can just dismiss what he got to say and then show you our history in Arabic. There's black people, and millions of black people in Africa that speak fluent Arabic as the lingua franca. That's just what it is. So I'll be teaching a little bit more about the language. Sitting back listening to this Donald Brown track. I have some excellent music teachers. Alice Lloyd, Donald Brown, James Tatum. And the most influential one was Alice Lloyd. Her name was something else. She got married. When I had her, she was Lloyd. But at the time, she was at Mumford. And if you look up the history of the gospel singers in Detroit, she was the teacher of all of them. Fred Hammond, all the guys in commission, the Winans, the Clark sisters, guys from Take Six, and Alice Lloyd. Barry Greer, one of the finest percussion instructors I've ever had. I mean, out cold. And then you had James Tatum, a great legendary jazz artist, professor at Wayne County Community College. And then you also had the guy who we listening to all night, Donald Brown. Yep, I've met those men. Many of our leaders in black consciousness and in music, which was the field history of music, and in religion, yeah, I've met them. I've actually got a chance to preach in Aretha Franklin's Daddy Church, New Bethel, right there on, is that Euclid? Not around the corner. Up the block. Just right up the block. That was big. That was real big. Boy, that was good. Shit. Woo. Yeah, that was good. I got some old super potent Crown over here. I'm about to get ready to go to bed, y'all. But before I went to bed, I'm just sharing with y'all some of the idle thoughts that's going through Yasha's head. I'm gonna do a little bit more of these idle thoughts with Yasha. This is idle thoughts number 1. Yeah, old Donald. Yep. I've had a beautiful life. I've got everything that I've ever wanted to do. The Most High have blessed me to do it. Now Yasha trying to get that bag. He trying to get that money. I never was focused on money. I was too focused on, just doing it. I never even cared. A lot of that stuff, man, shit. I just wanted to do it. And I missed the money, a lot of money, because I didn't have an eye on it. It got away from me. Now Yasha is finna focus on the bread. I'm trying to focus on getting this money. Get the money, y'all. I wish success for Black people. Success, prosperity, wealth, and godliness.